Growing up, did you ever enjoy reading a choose-your-own-adventure book with different experiences where you, the protagonist, were responsible for making all the critical decisions of the plot? Well, this is like that, but with gory imagery, comic stylings, and a story that will hit you hard right in your emotional core. This is why you should play Telltale's The Walking Dead. Created in 2003 by Robert Kirkman, The Walking Dead began as a successful comic series revolving around the beginning of a Walker uprising and the end of civilization. Walkers equal zombies, and don't you forget it. It is taboo to say zombies in this universe.
The keys are on that zombie out on the street.
Unlike the comic and television adaptations of The Walking Dead, the game's focus falls onto Lee Everett, a convicted murderer who begins the apocalypse on his way to prison. It is in these first scenes where the player is shown the point-and-click style gameplay. These are context-sensitive to each situation, and usually will range from a simple yes or no, to a standoffish rude remark, to potentially total silence. Silence is the default response if the player does not answer before the conversation timer ends. You would think that silence is just the game not allowing you to speak, yet this is a choice that may become favorable if the situation has no reply that you as the player want to convey. The game is touted as being a choose-your-own-adventure through these interactions, like the have it your way slogan from Burger King, but based around your decisions at the end of the world rather than what slop you want to throw on your Whopper. Each conversation has the potential to impact the players and those around them in ways that can affect trust, relationships, or even the lives of each character. The game will inform you of the general consequences of your decisions, which can be a comfort some of the time and disastrous at others.
Put the gun down, bitch!
After the opening police car ride ends in a nasty wreck, Lee is forced to break out of his handcuffs and come face to face with his first walker. Here, the player is finally given free reign over Lee's movement, which follows closely with the interaction wheel from earlier. Points of interest will be highlighted with different actions where Lee will be able to either simply examine or interact, allowing him to tell the player information that they can use to advance. Most of the time.
Open sesame. That won't work. I was kidding.
Certain points of interest may have other prompts for actions depending on the context, while others will unlock a needed option to advance only when the player has found an appropriate item or completed a potentially not so obvious task. In the case of the car wreck, Lee's only course of action is to fire a shotgun into the head of Officer Georgia Walker, which allows him to escape, but also stirs up a crowd around him due to the noise. After hobbling over a backyard fence,
Strange man here, bleeding in your backyard.
He comes across a little girl named Clementine. Clementine, who will forever be known as everyone's gaming adopted daughter from this point forward, was left home with the babysitter while her parents were away. The babysitter turns out to have laid down on the job, so it's the responsibility of the player through Lee to look after Clementine until her parents can be reached. From here, the player is given their first real decision. Each conversation has the ability to affect the interactions among characters, but there are specific moments during each episode that truly define the course of gameplay. All main decisions are shown at the end of each episode to act as a way to track the player's decision making throughout the story. These decisions can be anything from a remark made during an important conversation, to the reflexes of the player during a QuickTime event, to life and death decisions amongst characters. The gameplay fits so beautifully in the art style of the world and its characters, simplistic and unique, all thanks to the team's desire to mimic the art stylings brought to us by the comic series. Allowing the player to make game-changing decisions with these characters as they try and survive is a very compelling way to enhance overall immersion. You feel the emotion when Lee gets into a skirmish and has the opportunity to talk it out. You feel when the decision goes right and the group makes strides towards the better. And you definitely feel when a decision damages the group or affects someone else. The game does an amazing job blending in quiet moments so the player is not overwhelmed from the action. Time is given to the player to explore areas and interact with others for story progression, building relationships, and taking in information otherwise potentially missed from other survivors. It is in these moments that the game really makes you appreciate the group the player has and the sacrifices they need to make in order to survive. The first season of Telltale's The Walking Dead released between April and November of 2012, with a DLC titled 400 Days releasing in July of 2013. The first season of The Walking Dead focused on Lee, both on his survival and journey to protect Clementine, while the DLC focuses on the lives of 5 different people whose lives become entangled around a singular truck stop over the first 400 days of the apocalypse. Season 2 released between December 2013 and August 2014, with the focus shifting to Clementine's survival story approximately 2 years after the end of the first season. Between the seasons and episodes, all gameplay decisions transfer, so the player's journey will affect the outcomes they face over time, with their decisions being the main determinants of gameplay. Between February and April of 2016, Telltale produced a spin-off series based around Michonne from the comic series. The events of the spin-off take place between issues 126 and 139 and give a depiction of Michonne dealing with her past while striving to survive. It's a very well-made spin-off that I would more than recommend for fans regardless of their knowledge of Michonne or the comic series. Finally, after 2 years since the end of the second season, Telltale released Season 3 of The Walking Dead in December of 2016. The focus falls on the shoulders of Javi and his brother's family as they try to make it from one place to another. The season released with a 2-episode two-parter, which makes the experience compelling to see where exactly this new group will take us. While much of the story past the beginning of the first episode may have been left ambiguous in this video, it would be a true crime for me to spoil any more of the plot. I implore anyone interested in this game, or even the universe of the comic/TV show, to play through these games. Though canonically the comic and the game share the same universe, the games stay out of the plots of the TV show and the comic minus Michonne's spin-off, just something to keep in mind. Do not watch anything about the game past this review if you are interested. Please play and experience it for yourself. The experience will be more than worth it not knowing what happens, and that each of your decisions will be made organically and in the heat of the moment. You'll thank me. Massive, massive visual spoiler right here, everybody. For those who are curious and have experienced the game at least once, here are the decisions I have made throughout my experience with the games up to and including the second episode of Season 3. Each decision is my own. Leave a comment down below with your opinions and decisions you made on your own personal journeys with The Walking Dead. Subscribe to the Let's Play community for more content similar to this from a countless number of talented contributors. This is KyleDoesGTA, and this is why you should play Telltale's The Walking Dead.